America had experienced one of its best decades during the 1920s. Life was good and people were using and making money. Unfortunately, the good times did come to a halting end with the stock market crash of 1929. A great panic frenzy swept through America as industries fell, people lost their jobs, and there was a continuous unequal distribution of wealth. Soon before long, Americans found themselves living in a time of trouble. The Great Depression was a period in history when the country's economy had slumped and crumbled. Not only that, but America's southern states were facing a major drought. The Dust Bowl killed many old and young and left most without homes and money. Fortunately enough, in 1932, at the height of things, President Roosevelt came to office. He more than understood the troubles and needs of the citizens. He created a series of new laws and programs called the New Deal to help America back on its feet, using the 3 R's: relief, recovery, and reform. However, America did become isolationist, and new problems erupted in the world elsewhere. Countries were too facing a disastrous situation, and people became very fearful. Enough so to bring Hitler of Germany, Benito Mussolini of Italy, and Hideki Tojo of Japan to power. In a surprise attack, Japan bombed Pearl Harbor, which begged the question to the nation, should we go into war? America attempted to retreat as they and Japanese naval forces went head-on during battles in the Pacific. Here, General MacArthur and General Nimitz employed a strategy called island hopping to seize most of Japan's islands and free the Philippines. America's ability to quickly create many ships and supplies allowed defeat of Japan. However, the death toll for Americans' militants was rising, and on August 6th and 9th of 1945, President Truman decided to drop an atomic bomb on Japan's 2 cities, Hiroshima and Nagasaki. This completely crushed the Japanese, and they surrendered quickly. Even with the downfall of Japan, World War II was just beginning. Hitler and Mussolini had used fear to manipulate the thoughts of many civilians as they conquered most parts of Europe. Britain attempted to appease Hitler, but that did not stop him from moving forward. The blame and fear from post-World War I had been set on the Jewish people of Germany, and so they were imprisoned and murdered in one of the most horrendous events of history, the Holocaust. America was not so willing to join the war in Europe, but did sign a Lend-Lease Act with Stalin of Russia to help fight Hitler. Unfortunately, matters were getting out of hand in Western Europe, and the Allied powers teamed up to do a mass invasion and attack of German forces. The last event to fight them off was the Battle of the Bulge, when Germany tried one last time to get through the line of Allied forces. Fortunately, they couldn't, and the Germans were crushed. Hitler committed suicide soon after, and Germany surrendered. It was a big victory for the Allied powers. The war had lasting effects such as the creation of the United Nations, and not so great effects as the Jews invaded the land of Palestine in an attempt to gain land that was righteously theirs. Also, a lot of discriminatory barriers against African Americans and women were torn down as their participation in the war was a huge factor in the victory. Even with some hype post-World War II, America and Russia's relations would soon become bitter as extreme capitalist ideologies and extreme communist ideologies would clash to lead into the Cold War. Fear is an emotion that really can lead to many brutal things, and those with the power can use it to manipulate it and create evil. Or it can be used to bring people together and to promote change, as we saw in one of the biggest events in history, World War II.